So here's this comment that actually says or claims that the reason that Microsoft didn't have any hardware boost even with Call of Duty Black Ops 6 launching is because they decided to give their games to PlayStation. This person writes, as an audience member of mine, he said, I strongly believe the hardware side would have been in a far stronger position had they not done that, especially when Sony had next to no games last year. And again, this year seems to also not have pretty much in first-party offerings either. Microsoft has should have massively taken advantage of that, but they chose not to in lieu of a quick buck option instead of building up their own ecosystem. Now, I am very convinced, and this is an Xbox user, this is an Xbox fan as a longtime audience member. I'm very convinced that because of the way Xbox and PlayStation has groomed its users with this exclusivity thing coming from the 360 days and the PS4 days, a lot of people don't even know that the exclusivity thing doesn't even work as as effectively as they think. And you know how I know? This user and this audience member refuses to buy a PlayStation to play PlayStation games that they're interested in. I've asked them before, I've quizzed them. I'm like, okay, you want to play these games and you hope that PlayStation will bring them to Xbox if Xbox takes its games to PlayStation, right? Why haven't you just gone ahead and played them even though PlayStation refuses to bring its games to Xbox? And they said to me they prefer the Xbox ecosystem. So if you will not go buy PlayStation to play their exclusives, why do you think PlayStation users who already have a console, who could only afford one console, who've only chosen one ecosystem, would then choose to then go buy an Xbox on top of it to then play Xbox games, of which there's a huge number of PlayStation players that have sworn that Xbox games are not appealing to them. And also, if you complain and say that maybe because Call of Duty and all that, they should have kept Call of Duty exclusive, then Bungie would have been crazy as well if PlayStation had tried to keep their games exclusive because Bungie's games are going to Xbox. Then you have Bethesda's games that have always been on other platforms to establish their profitability. To keep them exclusive would have harmed those studios. So there's no way Xbox would have built its ecosystem if it didn't have sales of games. What builds an ecosystem is that the provider of that ecosystem can give games to its audience. If you go shortchange yourself, your studios will close. You will have no games made. You'll be canceling projects all over the place, which is exactly what PlayStation is doing right now. Yoshida, the PlayStation boss, was saying that day that the reason they're making these remasters is because they're cheap and they're supposed to help keep income coming in. Why should Xbox bother with doing all those nonsense instead of just go sell the games elsewhere so that their studios can stay open, so that their ecosystem can be healthy, and then those who come into the Xbox ecosystem get the benefit of Game Pass? You cannot expect for them to basically say it's a quick buck. Do you know what a quick buck is? A quick buck is a price gouging thing. Like, say, PlayStation Plus increasing the price of the subscription without adding any significant value. While Xbox is increasing the price of it, it's adding Call of Duty and every first-party game that's coming in its ecosystem day one. So I think the user base on both sides that want exclusivity, they ruin their own argument because they are reluctant to go buy the other platform. You don't want to spend $500 to play one or two games, which would then cost you $600. That is the most imprudent thing that you can do financially, in my opinion, that, I want to play this game over there. I already have a platform over here where there are games. Why not I go buy this new platform to then play this game that I'm then going to let the platform collect dust? This is why those who have two consoles usually have one collecting dust, because they have almost no use for it than the one euphoric game that they're going to play and beat. So the whole idea of exclusivity is a ruse, and you, the gamers who want exclusivity, you're proving that it's a ruse. Now, bring Nintendo into the whole conversation and the entire, missive, and you'll realize that Nintendo has structured its business differently. Nintendo is not facing the weight of live service games that are literally beating upon PlayStation and Xbox. And even look at the Nintendo player base, they're more likely to play a different kind of game, style than the console player. The console player will live on Call of Duty. The console player will live on Fortnite. The console player, that's Microsoft and that's Xbox and PlayStation, will live on EA's FIFA games. But then look at the Nintendo player. The Nintendo player will buy Breath of the Wild. The Nintendo player will buy Tears of the Kingdom. The Nintendo player will buy Mario Kart 8. The Nintendo player will buy Smash Brothers. The Nintendo player will buy all the Nintendo Mario Party games and all that. So they're a different kind of gamer. So people continue to, compare Nintendo to PlayStation and Xbox. You're not seeing how EA makes 70% of their annual income from live service games. 70%. Do you know what that is? That means that y'all console players that are screaming about exclusivity are not buying them. You're spending your money making EA rich. They're considering EA CEO to be Disney CEO following when the other guy leaves. That's how much y'all have literally carried this company with microtransactions purchases. So you guys have no ground to come here and say exclusivity will boost the console because y'all aren't going to buy the exclusive games. You won't even cross over to buy the exclusive games on the other side. In fact, you're not buying the exclusive games on your side, not to talk about going over to go buy a console, then buy the exclusive games on the other side. This is just pure hypocrisy that you expect PlayStation players to come buy Xboxes, then you won't go buy a PlayStation to play their games. It's an expectation that doesn't make any sense. So I'm pointing it out because I'm already getting all these comments. There's so many of them that are here. And I have no, I have nothing against anybody, but I'm just kind of tired and weak that y'all, you're laughing. You're saying, oh, they should have done exclusive deals. You see, when it goes down the drain, but y'all ain't buying the games. Like, I'm looking for all of you. You guys aren't buying games. I'm literally buying some of these games. I'm double dipping on PC and PlayStation, and I see the PlayStation boss come out and say, oh, who would have thought that, Helldivers 2 will sell more than Spider-Man 2? And I'm thinking, and I was gunning to buy this game. Even if I'm angry with the game at the way they carried the game out, I was going to double dip and buy the game on Steam when it came out end of this month. But now I'm looking and saying, well, why would I be doing this heavy lifting? When y'all aren't buying the games and then you guys want to come out here and tell me about exclusivity and say stuff like Phil Spencer is this and Phil Spencer is that. That's not the way things go. These comments, y'all need to really check yourselves. Check yourselves on all sides. Because the exclusivity game has been a game. It's up. The gig is up. It is. So this is the reality. Understand the gaming community and the platform that you're in. Understand how those gamers behave, and there's something that you're going to see as a thread. That this whole talk of exclusivity doesn't really drive anything home. It's just that simple. When you're fighting with the bigger companies that have games that are sucking all your players' time, majority of them, how is Call of Duty selling 25 million units a year? A year. And it will come out in in 3 months in that year, it will sell 25 million units or 20 million. How do we know this? Hogwarts Legacy. Hogwarts Legacy came out in February of 2023. Best-selling game that year. Call of Duty comes out November or October or something. Second best-selling game. Hogwarts Legacy sells 25 million units. Some random Call of Duty game is following it behind. Then Black Ops 6 comes out. After EA College Football comes out, becomes best-selling game of 2024. Then Call of Duty Black Ops 6 comes out October, becomes second best-selling game in 2024. What kind of madness is that? You expect people that are buying these games to the tens and dozens of millions of copies to go buy another device and play what? Games that they're not going to play? So I just don't know where it is. I've been looking at the data and pouring through the data for all this while, and I just cannot see it. I just cannot see it. Gamers aren't behaving differently. In fact, from the last data set that we looked at, that gentleman did, where he did about 200 and something pages of a presentation, I think his name was Matt something, we saw that the PC gaming platform is the one that's actually growing over the other three. PC comes in and is looking at the other three going 1 against 3, 1v3, and is doing so well. People are not buying these consoles to play exclusive games. That is a very sound conclusion based on the data. Some may buy, but there are few. That's it. The max number of PS5s that PlayStation can sell is the max number of PS4s, if many haven't jumped ship, that they already sold. That's their math. They're not getting anything more than that. Anybody thinking that they're going to get more than that because of these so-called great exclusives, you're lying to yourself. Because the PS4 generation, when they were coming in, it was third-party games that they were chasing. They looked at those third-party games, well, I can play this over there. But now that these third-party developers are saying we're going to go publish ourselves, that's already done. That's a one and done. Go and look at some charts, people. Before y'all come out to the comment section and start yelling at me, look at some charts. Look at the way gamers are behaving. Matthew Ball did this for you. He carried that whole... You get a context of all of the gaming industry right there with the data sets. You have no excuse or any reason to doubt why Microsoft is taking its games to other parties. There's no reason to do so. In my humble opinion. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Peace out.